Good morning, afternoon or evening. Today I have a video of a replay of a survival match I had a few weeks ago on stream. This is a really good survival match with a few viewers. We've got Bendy over here, Bendy Van it seems, Axel and Coyote. It's a bit of a weird map just because it's on extreme difficulty. We thought we'd give it a shot. Two of our teammates, me and my ally over here, spawned in the north, and the other two spawned in the south. Luckily, we both of us spawned near each other, and so did they. A little bit further apart, but they still spawned quite close. And the map is quite good. We've got water in between us, meaning that we're safe to the back. So we can build up on this side and be quite safe. We're not going to get attacked from the ocean, obviously. And later on in Industrial, when I go Britain, it becomes a little bit helpful, but you'll see. So I'm going to skip to the first attack because there's a thing in survival right now where the enemies will attack when they spawn in. Here they are. They will attack animals, so they get distracted fighting animals for a little bit, so they take a while to get in. But so here is the first attack, but actually it's the second attack. They just took so long to get here. You can see we got quite lucky. This is 8 minutes in. My ally sends his army down from his base because you never know where they're going to attack from. And he sends them in and they're chasing his workers, but he manages to defend himself. He just lost a few warehouses. But you can see the main army is over here and a little bit down here. But yeah, the army splits up a little bit. Well, the first few attacks usually clear the animals, and then these big blobs come in all at once. So my teammate here is going to have to defend himself. I think I send some of my army. Yeah, you can see my army's fighting off a load of attacks from the north here as well. And he's being attacked here. You can see the enemy army splitting up a lot, which is nice for us. We're 11 minutes in, and to win this we need to build the Wonder of the World and keep it until the timer runs out, and that's how you win. That's the only way to win. Otherwise the enemies just keep spawning. So you can see 12 minutes in, and the first really quite large army of Bronze Age units spawns in on our side, and it comes in through the north here. You can see we've just finished clearing out the enemy army. I built a bulwark here to waste time, but you can see there's not a lot of resources as well. There's quite a few copper nodes. That's like 3 copper nodes there, I think. Yeah, not much metal. All the metal's quite far away and quite exposed. So you can see my allies getting hit with the brunt of the enemy force here. And I'm going up north to meet them here rather than they go around into my economy. Our allies in the south are doing quite well here. They've killed all the enemy slingers, and now the macemen are dying. I've got this one a bit faster speed because it's an hour and 30 minutes, so it would make it quite long if I left it at normal speed. But yeah, you can see that we're doing alright here. He's losing some houses. If I go to his view, his food is hurt because he doesn't have many workers. There we go, all his workers back on food now, so his food's going back up. And his wood isn't terrible. He does have us to give resources, you can see. And the next Bronze Age attack is here. I think it's just a Bronze Age still. Yeah, still just a Bronze Age. The next one will be Iron Age, and this one is coming in from this side. So here the enemy army has reached me, and the enemy army has also reached our allies down here. Luckily our allies have a really nice space here where it seems the enemy can't get in, so they have to go all the way around here, meaning they fight in the middle, which is a bit inconvenient, but also nice and predictable. But you can see I've gone Western Europe, and my allies are currently still in the Iron Age. But I'm in Western Europe now, and I'm going to start building towers everywhere I can. Just to make sure we don't get overrun, because the Western towers are very good. Yeah, you can see my allies are struggling a little bit in the south to fight off these armies because they've had a really big force with us all at the same time. And another army spawned in again, and it spawned down here, but it went all the way up. I'm not sure why. So, but we're lucky because we managed to clean up the attack here, establish some nodes a little bit further away here. But our allies are getting hit by a second wave now, or some of the horses from this wave. And unfortunately they're losing a lot of workers and buildings that were here, like barracks and so on. You can see they're coming up this way now, and I've also built this little wall, meaning they have to fight me at this wood line under this tower, which is always nice. It's got 9 kills already at this tower. And you can see our allies are struggling a little bit to get themselves back on their feet. They've got just 2 to 3 towers here on this town hall, and the Asian player over here, who's just hit medieval, but is pretty undefended. He's only got a few archers. But he's doing the right thing here, trying to pick them off from a distance rather than get them to fight his archers. So let the buildings die, but let the archers do all the damage without losing the archers. You can see the big attack here. Unfortunately, it's a lot more archers than we thought. And currently it's like a battle of attrition, where they've got more units than us, but we're able to hold them back for now and defend. For some reason the deer aren't scared of you in this. Some of the deer aren't scared of you in this game mode, so it can make it a bit awkward. You can see here that the enemy spawn is a little bit awkward. The Iron Age spawns are on this little island, and they have to go all the way through these crocodiles to get to us, making it a lot easier. This is a really nice map for us. And there's a bit of an exploit you can do if you know they spawn on this island, let's say. You can wall off here, and because the AI struggles to actually attack walls, you can get away with just blocking the whole army over there. So this is the next attack. All the Iron Age units met up together inside my allies' base, and unfortunately little horses and swordsmen and axemen went over here. Let me just switch on health bars. There we go, that's a lot easier. Sorry, there we go. So you can see that the enemy managed to destroy the tower there, and I think kill a few workers. Yeah, there's a few dead workers, and it's Western Europe, so losing workers is quite hurtful. Although we all have a fishing economy, which is very helpful. See some onagers fighting this one heavy archer, which was stopping me building, which actually I think killed my workers which were building that. But you can see that our allies have big armies now and are able to defend themselves, and luckily the enemy armies are trying to split up and attack both of us, both sides of the ocean. Unfortunately here you can see that the northern allies here, me and my ally, are now dealing with 2 attacks at the same time. One attack which split up, half went to the south, half went to the north, and the other half of the other attack, but they all came at kind of the same time. And you can see they've hurt the fishing economy a little bit. They're probably going to kill these boats, a bit mismicro there. And unfortunately my longbows are just unable to deal efficiently with everything. And my allies' Sarbaz are also unable to deal with things like the samurai. Which causes a few issues, of course. But you can see we've managed to deal with most of it, and now it's just heavily armoured slow units like the Morgensterns and Landsknecht, which are going to be dealt with quite easily with my longbows and Onager Swarm. You can see they're only just getting into melee range, and these guys can get a little bit closer because they've got 15.7 average armour, with my longbows doing 18 damage, so that's probably like 2 damage a shot on average. You can see that the good thing is that the AI doesn't actually wait for the enemy, so they send all their fast units in first and the slow units, so it comes in waves, which makes it a little bit easier to deal with. See another medieval army here. This is purely medieval now, just bigger than the last time, and again it's splitting up, so half is going for us in the north and half for the south. So this is a few attacks later. The next biggest attack is now still early medieval, and it's split up into 2 really big armies. You can see I'm industrial now, just got into industrial with some machine gunners, and luckily the attack is still early medieval. And you can see the strength of the Europe towers here. He's got 17 kills, and he's held off most of this army. There was just 3 towers here, held off the army for a really long time. And you can see here they attack my wood line, but I have machine gunners, cannons, archers. You can see the machine gunners down here firing in to their Oglands and Morgensterns, or Penarchs this time, sorry. But you can see this attack is being dealt with quite easily. While our allies are struggling a little bit down here, the enemies managed to break a few houses and the furthest resource collection nodes, But now we've got a Germany, we've got India. This player is just a bit behind because he lost all of his houses here in a previous attack, and me going Great Britain. And I'm trying to set up some sea forts as well to defend myself in this area without having to worry to send an army down. And now it's time for the late medieval attacks. You can see the Ashigaru, Yari, and the mounted samurai, etc. coming in. They're not too problematic because there's just such a mass of archers now and artillery, but the elephants go in front. They soak up all the damage while these sabas do all the damage. So the mounted samurai can't actually get into the melee infantry as they would hope. Dragoons are never really good, so they're also quite easy to deal with. Unupgraded gunpowder units are not very good, so to be honest, sabas probably either on par or better than things like musketeers and arquebusiers, like which are over here. So a little bit later, we have in the north, after a few attacks, we now have the Industrial 1 units. So you can see the Turkish mortars are just firing in from a very long distance while the cavalry goes in. Cleans up my quite scattered light machine gunners, and the few howitzers and king cannons I have right now have to deal with the infantry alone. Unfortunately, I have been producing machine gunners, but a lot of them died, and my ally's base is quite threatened now. A lot of his resource collection was up here, and he lost all of that as well. You can see the tanks, tankettes, mortars, howitzers, even death sights. It's a very difficult combination to deal with, and actually starting to target my teammates down hall now. He's got machine gunners, but to be honest right now what we need is howitzers, maybe even horses, to try and deal with their artillery. Run in, kill the artillery, while my howitzers deal with their elephants the best they can, but you can see their accuracy is not the best. Another attack spawning in the south over here. This is still IR1 luckily for us, but my teammate here is unable to repair in time. He has lots of workers, but I don't think he has much metal. No, he has metal. I'm not sure why he didn't repair that, but he unfortunately fell. I think I gained some of the resources, and you can see a little detachment of balloons here from Coyote here to defend. He did send them, but they're so slow they didn't manage to get here in time to save my teammate. So that's the first loss of this survival game. While I try to build up some defences for everybody. You can see I've built some sea fort there, and I'm trying to build some sea forts along here, but I think I ran out of wood and they became idle. And with microing my defense against these attacks, it's quite difficult. You can see these balloons are doing super well against these units because obviously they can't target them. You know, artillery and so on can't target it. Here's another IR1 attack. This is the third one, and then IR2 over here. Is this IR2? No, this is still IR1. Alright. I think that might be the last IR1 attack, but a few units are stuck back here, I'm not sure why. The AI sometimes does that, I think. But you can see Coyote's balloons really saved the day here. Loads of artillery and elephant kills. He did leave a few for himself, but probably not enough. You can see he's got a lot of horses down here, and his teammate is under a lot of pressure as well. See there, the amount of tanks and tankettes here. And unfortunately, Axel, our second teammate, passes away as well. Luckily, the enemy army is now stuck inside his base fighting. Not really stuck, but it prioritizes fighting these targets. And you can see I now have to deal with the first IR2 attack up in the north. You've got Panther tanks, T-34s. It really escalates quite quickly. My army mostly comprises of light machine gunners and yeah, mostly light machine gunners, a few howitzers, you can see. I think I do fight this attack off, but a lot of it is going down to my ally on this defensive line, and he does not have much of an army. If we had known that this army was coming down here, because we don't have a vision tower along here, so if we had known that that was coming, we could have told him to get his defences ready, maybe send his balloons and stuff there, but it's on the wrong side of his base, meaning that by the time he realises and sends his stuff over there, the enemy is already at his perimeter and attacking him. I do almost successfully deal with this attack. I should probably just fall back with these machine gunners and just use the howitzers because it's a waste now. But I have reached IR2 and I should start making some machine gunners soon rather than relying on metal. You can see another IR2 attack over here with our flamethrowers, the first gas mortars, IS-2s, no mouse tanks or anything yet. But I do just finishing off this attack up here, and I think I start going wonder here. Not quite, I'm making a few more workers, yeah, to gather the metal, because I don't have the resources. But I will be going for the wonder very soon, which is desperately needed now. And luckily here, the workers wasted loads of time. You can see he sacrificed a lot of his workers and soldiers, I think they are, to hold the front line while the Berthas and military balloons deal with the infantry and the tanks. So you can see I finally deal with the attack up here at the loss of most of my infantry, and now the rest of his army is coming in from this side. You can see like a scouting force of Zambaraks and so on coming in, and I move my army over here for some reason. My economy is up here though now. And luckily the enemy's kind of plugged out and stopped there, but that means that my ally, the only way he can get to me is either over the ocean or around this coast, which I've defended quite heavily, and he's still dealing with units over there, making that impossible. One good thing that came out of my teammate's death, I guess, is the fact that he left his workers here, and the tankettes and so on were wasting their time fighting that rather than targeting my units. And I should really start going into the wonder there, yes. It is double population, so I should have built a few more houses here and just spammed more units. More submachine gunners, and probably sent all my workers up to the very tip of the map to harvest wood and so on. It's a bit risky gathering so close to their spawns. And you can see another advanced IR2 attack with Panther tanks, squadron cannons, Flamen Berthas. Most of it is going down to my teammate, who is again unable to defend himself really. He's going all the way over here now to clean out his ally base. You can see another attack. So my ally's getting attacked from two sides, and it doesn't see this attack until it's too late again. Now he has to move in, and he's going to lose a lot of his houses. I managed to clear up this attack, but there's another one coming in from my right, but not so big. It's mostly just tanks, although it does hurt my wood economy quite badly here. I lose, what is that, 10 workers, which were on wood, 10 industrial workers. That's quite a lot of economy, potential economy at least. You can see these units trying to get to my base, or they're trying to target his fishing boats, but they can't. There is a few little bugs like that, but to be honest, all they're doing there is irritating my teammate who can't get anywhere. And now he's got only a few Berthas, one half-built pillbox, and his military balloons, which are being shot down by these massed SMGs. And even when they're falling, the SMG balloons do carry on the fight quite valiantly. And the wonder is almost done, but my teammate is also almost done. He's getting very close to death. And another attack spawns in up here, with the majority of it going towards me, and most of the cavalry down this way towards my ally, who is just producing workers and doing whatever he can to kill these tanks. The big problem here is those anti-tank rifles, I think, because the tanks themselves don't do a huge amount of damage to things like Berthas because they're too armoured, but it is very problematic either way. See these heavy tanks, and now the other heavy tanks have come in from the left side here. Even tank destroyers, it's just tanks on tanks here, left and right, fighting these last 5 Berthas who have had like 40 kills, some of them. I'm also being attacked here. I lose a mine, and unfortunately Coyote is killed. Oh well, he was killed in the game. The replay seems to be a little bit bugged here, but I have reached the wonder of the world now, and I've got some defences, trying to funnel the enemy into a certain position, but I'm just getting attacked from too many sides. You can see the RPGs are dealing insane amounts of damage to my only barracks, and I don't have the resources to replenish them. Another huge attack comes in from the north, and you know, with three factories, not much economy, 1 airfield, and what is left of my economy being destroyed, there really isn't much left I can do here except try hold for those 8 potential minutes. I should definitely have built a load of C4s along my town hall. I'm not sure why I didn't do that. You can see it's a tad bit late here. And I did build them on this side, but I guess I just didn't expect the defences up in the north to fall so fast. My only last few military balloons are going up to the north, and I don't even realise these motorcycles just wiped out my entire howitzer fleet. My formation of howitzers here. They're trying to target my tractors with gas mortars, but luckily they don't do any damage to those. And you can see the last few remnants of my fighting force. A few howitzers, the last military balloons, and the trawlers, which are trying desperately to build these sea forts, but not getting anywhere with that. You can see yet another attack over here with a mouse tank now, getting really advanced. You've got a mouse tank in there, some Saint Chamons and so on. I don't think there's any other mouse tanks along the map, but yeah, now they're starting to target my town hall. I do move some workers back because I've got a lot of metal, but you also need wood to repair, and unfortunately I just don't have wood. And maybe if I could have saved all those workers, maybe I could have repaired from maybe a minute longer, but that is unfortunately the end of my base and the end of the game. A really kind of easy match from the start, just because the enemies took so long to get to us, but it scaled pretty fast once we hit industrial, and we just could not keep up with it. And then we tried this again last week on my stream, or 2 weeks ago, but unfortunately we weren't so lucky with the map. The first 2 times, and only the 3rd time did we manage to win after knocking the difficulty down a little bit. But still quite an enjoyable game mode. That is survival. You have to pay for it, unfortunately, but that's what it is. So thank you everyone for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.